Gather round, children of the firelight, and listen closely. For tonight I will tell you a story from the long, long ago. It is the tale of the drum that spoke only once. A story our grandfathers told their grandfathers. A story carried on the night wind itself. In the heart of our land, nestled between the rolling hills and the whispering river, there was a village. And in the very center of this village, in a sacred hut, woven from the strongest reeds and blessed by the oldest spirits, rested a drum. This was no ordinary drum. Its skin was stretched from the hide of a mythical antelope that could outrun the wind, and its body was carved from the heartwood of a tree that touched the clouds. For generations it sat in silence. The villagers would beat upon it during festivals, weddings, and funerals, but it only ever gave back the sound of wood and hide. Never a word, never a whisper. The elders said the drum was waiting for a moment so important, so heavy with the fate of the people, that it would have no choice but to break its long silence. They called it Kulu, the great voice. The children would often dare each other to sneak into the hut and touch Kulu, hoping to be the one to hear its first word. But Kulu remained quiet, a silent guardian watching over the village. One year the rains forgot our lands. The sun beat down with a merciless fire, cracking the earth and turning the river into a shallow, muddy stream. The crops withered in the fields, the cattle grew thin, and the laughter of children faded into the hungry silence. The villagers prayed. They offered sacrifices, but the sky remained a harsh, cloudless blue. Despair, like a hungry shadow, began to fall over everyone. The chief, a wise and worried man named Django, gathered the elders. Their faces, etched with the lines of many seasons, were grim in the firelight. They had tried everything they knew, every ritual, every plea to the ancestors. Nothing had worked. As they sat in heavy silence, a young boy, no older than 10 seasons, stepped forward. His name was Femi, and his eyes held a strange and fearless light. "Chief Django," he said, his voice clear and steady, "we have not asked Kulu." The elders murmured amongst themselves. The drum was for beating, not for conversation. It was a sacred object, not a wise man. But Femi stood his ground. "The great voice is waiting for a time of great need," he insisted. "Is our need not great enough now?" Seeing the truth in the boy's words and the desperation in his people's eyes, Chief Django nodded slowly. He led the entire village to the sacred hut. With great reverence, he and the elders carried Kulu out and placed it in the center of the village square. The people formed a circle, their faces full of hope and fear. The moon was a sliver in the dark sky, and the only light came from the flickering torches they held. Chief Django raised the ceremonial mallet, its head wrapped in soft leather. The air was thick with anticipation. He struck the drum. A deep, resonant boom echoed through the night, a sound that seemed to shake the very ground, but it was just a sound. He struck it again. Boom, silence followed. The hopeful faces of the villagers began to fall. Then Femi, the young boy, stepped into the circle. He looked at the great drum not with the reverence of an elder, but with the simple, direct honesty of a child. He placed his small hand flat upon its surface and spoke, not to the chief or the elders, but to the drum itself. "Kulu," he said softly, "we are thirsty. Our mothers are crying. Our fathers are worried. Please tell the sky to weep for us." He tapped the drum once, a gentle pat with the palm of his hand, and then it happened. A voice, deep and ancient as the earth itself, rolled out from the drum. It was not a boom, but a word. It spoke a single name, the name of a hidden spring, deep in the shadows of the farthest hill, a spring forgotten by all but the oldest stories. And then Kulu fell silent once more, never to speak again. The villagers, stunned and overjoyed, followed the drum's direction and found the spring, its water cool and plentiful. The village was saved. And so we remember the drum that spoke only once. It teaches us that sometimes the greatest wisdom is found in silence, waiting for the right moment. And that sometimes the most powerful voice is not the one that shouts the loudest, but the one that speaks the simple truth when it is needed most. Thank you for listening. Remember this story and carry it with you.